what a journey it's been to go through this AI versus VA season together. Thank you so much for all of your participation and attending. I hope you learned as much as I did about how the future of technology and people are going to evolve into this wonderful supportive system. You know, there's a lot of this concept of like, which is going to be more powerful, virtual assistants or AI. And I was so surprised at the end when the score was 6-5, 6 AI, 5 to VA. But I don't think that really reflected what happened. As you guys remember in this last season, we talked to owners of other virtual assistant companies. We talked to owners of AI software. We talked to companies and how they were using it in small private practices to large private practices. We also talked to virtual assistants themselves, which will always be one of my most memorable moments, was having the joy of speaking to Joanne and Andre from the Philippines, two people who I'm very dear friends with and grateful for. And there were so many people behind the scenes of this season. You know, I want to shout out to Seth and Sab and Kim, who are the podcast branding team here at the Willpower Podcast. We all came together and just really learned a ton. And here's what I learned. The overall lesson that I learned from this experience is that we have a responsibility to be abreast of the latest technology as private practice owners. And the reason that's so important is because if we know how to better equip our practice with the best people and tools, we will overcome any challenges that might come our way. There's so many things that could negatively impact healthcare. And if we are visionaries and looking forward and seeing what's coming on the horizon, we will be equipped to pivot and survive. And so the end result for me with this VA AI interface was what JP said at the end. It is going to be a mix. There's going to be supercharged VAs down the road to help offload us. There'll be a human element and a technology element that are going to come together to completely free you up. And what a joy it's going to be in that space. Rock stars, I want you to hear from Andre is like, these are people. These are human beings in the Philippines with unlimited potential. Rock stars, you've heard me say this before, and I'm going to say it again. And this is from my background being faith-based, is that if we are, in my world, children of God, and we have unlimited potential in life, and we can become creators because it's literally in our DNA, that isn't unique to any country. Those are man-made boundaries that are silly. This whole thing about humanity is what matters. I have met the best leaders with zero formal training in the Philippines because they have focus and they have heart. So when you're hiring, whether it's the Philippines or not, and especially if you're like considering ever going to the Philippines, to not find someone who's going to do the silly things that you don't want to do and be worried about the accent or whatever. I'm hoping these episodes are clearing that up in real time. What I hope you'll take from this is you hire for heart and potential, because I will tell you, and I'm not saying this to be nice, you are going to hear these people's names. You are going to hear Andre's name. I can say that more definitively because he's directly under my wing. You are going to know Andre. He is going to be a force to be reckoned with in this world, and that's why I hired him. But let's start with this one. Like, how have AI tools helped you in this thing called delegation?
Yeah. So for all of my meetings, my coaching calls and things of that nature, when I work with practice owners, their key leaders and directors or admin team members, I really leverage Rita AI. It's a software that actually records the meetings. I found them to be really helpful because they not only transcript and record the video of what's occurring, they also put action items on there.
Oh my gosh, it has like the delegation tools on it.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So what that does is not only assists me, like when I'm running back to back to back, I can go back and reference that and know what I've promised other people so I can make good on that. But it also allows me to follow up with anybody that I have asked something of them. So if I have, delegated to one of my clients, that they need to have a crucial conversation with someone and I need to follow up, then I can now go back and follow up with them or put that in my calendar, things like that. So it kind of keeps me honest with the things that I have communicated. So it just makes me more effective as a coach. And I think it makes me more effective as an accountability partner for my clients.
It's interesting you say that because like for me, I think we all have organic strengths and weaknesses around this thing called delegating, because delegation is totally the empowerment of another person.
Sure.
It's an expression of leadership. So for me, I suck at detail. I'm really bad at remembering details. She knows all this, by the way. This is like Michelle we could have an episode just going best practices of how many details I forget because of the speed in which I like to operate. But it's one of those where I love when we have notes in our meetings to just be able to have it there. And like for me on a delegation sense, to copy or download the transcript, throw it in a chat GPT and be like, yeah, send out 3 emails.
Yeah.
Create all the emails needed to delegate all the things that were covered in this meeting.
Yeah.
And then copy, paste, send. Like it talks about reducing to eliminating the time of delegation.
Oh, I've also leveraged chat GPT to also be like, what am I missing in this?
Oh yeah.
Like in this outline, like what is it that I'm missing in making this an effective process?
Interesting.
Yeah.
One of our barriers that we put in our heads around delegation is that we feel like we don't want to give other people our crap. Like the stuff that we feel is like demeaning or we hate doing. There is always someone on this planet who would love to do the things we don't want to do, no matter how small, big, frustrating those things are. So Natalie, that was a huge breakthrough because you learned the power of delegation, the power of buying back your time by investing in someone. And here's my favorite part. Jill loved it. She got to develop her skills. She got a personal connection to the leader you are. She was able to feel like she was making a difference. And I think that's what we forget, is that when we hold on to these things as leaders, we are damming our progression like a dam in a river, because we are holding the pressure in it. It just keeps building. But there are people who want to flow on that river, man. It's like, it's so exciting when realizing, wow, we're blessing them by having those things handed over to them. So I have another question. In your case, you were a collegiate athlete, that mental strength that you developed. It was cool for me to hear that you have multiple breaking moments, because that's me too. When you go through that, how has that mental training in that physical world in college prepared you for owning a business?
Yeah. So, being involved in like Division I collegiate athletics, the New England field hockey team, the U.S. national field hockey team, those you don't come by without working really, really hard. And it's not a sense of normalcy of working hard. It is you are pushed to the maximum that you feel like you could potentially be pushed to. And so I have this phrase called, you call this a storm. And it's from Forrest Gump. And I laugh because Forrest Gump was actually my inspiration to become a physical therapist. Like I knew I wanted to. Yeah. So like I knew I wanted to be a doctor or a nurse or something in healthcare, but I didn't really like blood or guts or like things like that. And that scene in Forrest Gump when he's got the leg braces and he's starting to run and the leg braces fall off. And I literally said, that is what I want to do. If somebody can't walk, I want to help them walk. Like we had to look that up. My parents and I had to look that up. What is that career? And that was the start of my, like, this is my journey. I'm meant to do this.
I knew if I focused on building like just even front desk replacements for virtual assistants, I knew, and I still hold dear that apart from the relationships that people are going to have with their VAs and not wanting to switch over, everyone else is going to go. You will not see a physical human being at a front desk by the end of this decade. And people are who are listening to this like, there's no way. I promise you there will be AI avatars that are going to be the best version of the best front desk you've ever had 100% of the time, never calls in sick and never asks for a raise, and they're totally affordable. That's going to happen by the end of this decade. You're going to walk into every physical center, and apart from the people who still are using VAs, but there will not be a physical person in any medical office unless the person is like technologically completely backwards. It just won't make sense. So I thought about it. Would we want to do this business? And I said this to my wife, and she just goes, yeah, but Will. And this is where her brilliance came in. She goes, you have a window to really make a difference until then for both the practices and the people overseas. She goes, you can't stop thinking of ideas. If you just get the right team, you'll figure it out. And as we look to the future, it's a weird thing that I hold, and I don't know if I've said this to you guys, but I see it as both, as like excitement. It's mostly excitement, but there's awareness for me that if we aren't dramatically different by the end of this decade, our business will not exist in the same way, if at all. So for me, I don't mean to say that doom and gloom. It's coming from, but it's a realization of like, what's possible and on both ends. And so
For sure.
I love that we've had this discussion.
I gotta say, one of the things that we've used, and I actually through you, is the virtual assistants. I don't have a personal virtual assistant, but we've implemented it in the clinics because since it has a low cost, it allows me to have enough staff or more staff to be able to spread the load evenly and be able to get them to higher performance versus overworking people. And that requires less supervision from my part. So that frees me up. In terms of technology, we do have some AI tools we've been adding in.
Okay.
So for my reporting, I do a lot of the back office reporting in terms of performance. So instead of having to go into the schedule and just count visits with my finger, we implemented an AI tool that allows me to pull reports and dice it and shave it and cut it however I want, so I can get some insights from how the clinic is performing, how the providers are performing, and it especially allow me to find where I need to focus this next month.
What is that? What's the name of that tool that you're using?
It's called it's Prediction Health.
Okay.
They have
an AI-based tool.
Yes, they have for the providers. They have a scribe tool and AutoNode and all that stuff, and they suggest help them with the Ask AI as well. So they look into 5 billion notes and give you some insight. So it helps them do their notes faster, less mistakes, and be more consistent in their billing. And from the manager perspective, I get all the data from every single note that has been made, so I can know exactly how they're doing in terms of auditing. If we get audit tomorrow, who is my weak link, and where is he weak? Who's the one that is dragging the underbilling and is dragging the group behind? All that stuff. So I can pinpoint those.
So to all of you who are wondering what's next in our next season, I'm excited to give you an update because I have had the privilege of coaching with someone by the name of Alex Hormozi. If you don't know who that is, look him up. He's the author of 3 books over the last few years: $100 million offer, $100 million leads, and $100 million money models. $100 million money models came out just a month ago. I'm filming this in September. And that book broke the all-time nonfiction book record, ousting memoirs from various presidents of the United States. He also made it into the top 5 of best-selling fiction books, not just nonfiction, but fiction books. He ousted a number of the Harry Potter book series. How did he do that? Well, it was a combination of having a great book, times his marketing efforts, to the power of his brand. And so the brand is such an important element. And I had the privilege of spending more than one conversation with Alex. I spent a full day with him recently in Las Vegas, where he analyzed the Willpower podcast and my audience and all that we're doing together. And he gave me the advice that he wants this show to pivot into more of an organic model. So what does that mean? It means I spend a lot of time every week coaching clients, speaking on stages, training my team, training other people's teams. And so he just wants me to start filming that. And I'm really excited because for those of you who are fans of the show, we are going to start going live more frequently on YouTube and on LinkedIn, where we are going to start interacting with you, the audience, moving forward. This is an exciting piece of this journey for me because you are who I care about. I laid my heart into that first episode of this season for a reason. You are the person, the man and woman leader that I care most about. And I want to serve you as you continue to realize your dreams. And so what I'm going to be doing moving forward is actually going to give you more access to my experience through discussions. I am also still going to do episodes. I'm going to have great people come to the table, especially people I think that would serve you. It's going to be less niche and focused into one area, but you can always count on me talking about 3 things: leadership, business, and family. To me, that is where the fun is where these organizations come together to change the world. Because in the end, all that we're doing is meant to change the world of our family. And if families can continue to evolve and grow, everything else in the world will take care of itself. So please join me over this next season. It's not defined by a period of time. I am not going to be giving even a specific release schedule. Some weeks I might release 2 episodes, 3 episodes. I might skip a week here and there. The episode lengths might be 10 minutes, an hour and a half, 2 hours. There's no predictability because that's my life. And as I continue to grow this vision, my vision for Virtual Rockstar is to transform 4,444 families in the next 5 years. So for me to do that together with you, I want you to be one of those families. Join this family as we continue to learn and grow together, and it's going to be a wonderful ride. So buckle up, stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next show. Thanks for tuning into the Willpower Podcast. As always, this is Will Humphreys reminding you to lead with love, live on purpose, and never give up your freedom. Until next time.